Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, folks.
I'm not camping outside a store for Black Friday or any Friday.
We're with Kat. That's why our Ace Black Friday sale lasts all day. Just print out our online coupon, bring it in, and save 50% on an item under $30.
Ace is the place with Black Friday offers all day. Go ahead and sleep in.
Print out our coupon at acehardware.com and stop by Ace this Friday for 50% off one regular priced item under $30. Offer valid on November 25th only at participating stores. Limit 1. Exclusions apply. See coupon.
With us right now, and I can tell you the campaign for his reelection has not taken a toll on him.
No.
Long Island Congressman Peter King. Good morning, Congressman King.
Bernie and Sid, how you guys doing?
We're doing great. How you feeling today? I mean, I saw a very upbeat Hillary Clinton voting in Chappaqua this morning. Peter did not necessarily see that when Trump walked into his polling place this morning as a guy that converted to Trump eventually. How you feeling this morning about it?
I think, first of all, no one knows. I think he's going to win. The reason I say no one knows is there's a definite realignment has happened here in this country, and people are shifting from one party to the other. You have a lot of blue-collar ethnics are now voting Republican in places like Michigan and Pennsylvania. Whether that's enough to offset others who are switching and going for the Democrats, I don't know. But there's a real realignment here, which Donald Trump has brought about. I think he's going to win. I think that you're going to see states like North Carolina and Michigan and Colorado go for him. I don't know about Pennsylvania, but I think maybe even something like Wisconsin. But again, we're not going to know until the end of the day. This is going to make a lot more sense to us tomorrow than it does right now. But I can tell you, I heard you guys say before that the polling places weren't too crowded. I was this morning in Seaford, Massapequa, Levittown, and the lines are out the door. And the election inspectors, the poll watchers, were saying it's the largest they've ever seen. My daughter just called me from Montauk. She had to wait 25 minutes online to vote.
Wow.
And Ann from my office, she went to Massapequa at 6 o'clock this morning, and she had to wait 20 minutes to get in the door. So it's
and that's unprecedented.
Happening out there.
Right, exactly. Unprecedented. No doubt the Trump effect, Congressman King. And you are running yourself for re-election, and you're such a lock. Nobody even knows who you're running against out there in Long Island, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, so far things look good, but the reality is, first I want to keep it that way, that you don't know who I'm running against. But my district is only 34% Republican, so I have to do some smoke and mirrors and just basically get out there on my own and show that I have an independent record. And so far, it's working, and I think I'm getting it done. But until it's over, it's not over. I can guarantee you, of the 435 members of Congress, people analyze all these districts and they talk about the guys that may lose and the guys that may score upsets and all that. There's always at least one or two districts which nobody was even paying any attention to, and that man or woman ends up losing. So I don't want to be that guy this year.
No, not at all.
How did King lose?
Hey, listen.
He wasted his time going on radio with Sid and Bernie. That's what he thought.
What do you make of this confused James Comey and the Federal Bureau of Indecision, or whatever the hell they're called these days? What's going on with that?
Yeah, I've really been disappointed. I mean, I understand why he did it Friday, 10 days ago, whenever it was, because he'd already gone out front saying that he was not going to recommend prosecution of Hillary, which is unprecedented for the FBI director to do that. And that was the last word that was out there. So when he got the new evidence, he had to say something. But then to say it and then 9 days later say that even though there were 600,000 emails, there's nothing incriminating there, that's not the image you want from the FBI director. I mean, I don't think he should have said anything going back to July. I think he should have had his findings, given them to the Attorney General, and let her decide. She probably would have decided not to prosecute. But then to go public, that's not the FBI director's job. And also the reasons he gave, I mean, he basically laid out an indictment of Hillary Clinton, and at the end says, but we shouldn't prosecute her. Then after apparently they've been told that all of Uma Abedin's devices had been turned over to the FBI, they find out that she was sharing one with Anthony Weiner, which had over 600,000 emails on it. And
your friend, Anthony Weiner. They were mortal enemies.
And Comey said in his statement, he said, we have no reason to change any of the conclusions that we reached back in July. Well, those conclusions were that there were classified emails on that Hillary had on the private server. So if that's consistent, that means Anthony Weiner had access to them, and God knows what he was doing. So I don't think this case is over yet. I mean, it's over as far as this election. It's probably over as far as Hillary Clinton, but as far as Uma Abedin and Anthony Weiner, and also the investigation of the Clinton Foundation. All of that is still out there, but it's
right.
Now Comey, as the FBI director, you have to be in that position where when you say something, that's it. You know, it's like the Pope, ex cathedra. You speak, that's it. It's over. You can't then be giving a definite opinion and then changing it a week later, and then a week later after that.
Well, I think they want something juicy, right? It's not as simple as, well, he changed his mind. He wasn't sure. He didn't know what to do. I think the folks are looking for something juicy, like a definite tie between Loretta Lynch and Bill Clinton. He was on the tarmac, as you know, Peter, a couple of months ago. And
right.
they want some juice, like somebody's making Comey do this. And he's got a whole bunch of stuff, and he can drop the hammer at any time. And every time he's ready to drop the hammer, somebody who's bought for, whether it's Lynch or somebody else, they make sure he doesn't do it.
Yeah, I don't see that. I think though that he did. Again, he didn't handle this the right way, and I've had respect for Jim Comey in the past. But no, I don't see any arch conspiracy here. But the Clinton,
you don't, okay?
After him, no, I don't. But I do think that there was a certain amount of pressure which was brought on the FBI overall. Like, for instance, when he came out on that Friday and said there was new information, I mean, I was surprised how strongly and personally the Clintons went after him. And even the President of the United States, who was actually the chief law enforcement officer, for him to say that it was, in effect, said it was handled the wrong way, that sends a subtle pressure, not in the conspiratorial way, not in the secret way, but the pressure on Comey, I think, was tremendous to get this done. I don't think he intended to release the final findings before Election Day, but that's the position he put himself in. It's, again, you have to be more stable than that.
Either way, today, Congressman King, we seek justice at the ballot box is what we do. And let me ask you about the bigger picture. In this campaign, this overall presidential campaign, the biggest loser, in my estimation, will be the media, the conspicuously, disgustingly dishonest media, the scum at CNN. I know you don't want to engage in that type of language that I just used, so you can distance yourself from it. But Dirty Donna Brazil feeding questions from CNN to the Hillary campaign. I mean, what's your assessment of all of that?
Yeah, I do a lot of media, and here's what bothers me with reporters, is that somehow they think they can give it out, they can criticize, they can be very smug, and sit on television and criticize this guy or that woman and be very cynical about it. And then you go back with them, and suddenly you're against the First Amendment, you're against freedom of speech, you're generating hatred. I mean, I think it's great when Donald Trump is at the podium and he singles out reporters. Let them take some of the heat that we do. And I think you're seeing really, there is a lot of hypocrisy in the media. There's a lot of a double standard. And I don't even know if they're aware of it all the time. I think it's so inbred in them. Like, for instance, I was on several shows after the Donald Trump audio tape came out. And I said what he said was wrong. It was you can't defend it. But I also said I've heard a lot worse. In fact, when I heard that what Donald Trump that he had said something horrible, and when I saw it, I thought, well, I've heard worse. And it's wrong. And it's indefensible. But this is not the end of the world. And reporters said, when did you ever hear anyone talk like that?
Yeah.
Well, starting out, I said reporters.
Yeah, right. Reporters.
Let's have a hit a clinical about it. Let's just say, hey, it's wrong. People have done it. We've all done it to some extent, men and women. And it's wrong. But don't say that he's the only guy in the world that ever did it.
Oh, no doubt.
All of a sudden, everybody was a Puritan.
Hypocrisy,
yeah, stupid. So let's talk about the partying Peter King, the guy that shows up at Shines and drinks a bunch of Jägermeister shots off his buddy's nipples. Let's talk about that guy. If Donald Trump loses, but you win, which of course you're going to win, does that mean that the party is somewhat tempered? Or, in other words, are you going to party like a rock star if your big guy, the big gun for president, loses?
No, I want Donald Trump to win, and I think and I expect him to win.
But if he doesn't,
win or lose, is going to be a real coming together for either agreement. I would say there's going to be real come to Jesus type meeting next week, and you're going to have Republicans in the House meeting. There'll be a lot of fighting going on.
Wow.
There's definitely a real division in the party. If Donald Trump wins, he has the opportunity to bring it together. But if he loses, there's going to be a lot of finger pointing. And I think, you mentioned drinking in Shines and all that. Listen, apart from the details, I think what Donald Trump was able to appeal to so many blue collar guys is, even though he's a billionaire and he has his own jet, he acts like a regular guy. And too many Republicans act like they're out of a country club or they're out of some, spent their whole life on Park Avenue. And to me, that's real, because I've spoken to any number of people, blue collar people, that have dealt with Trump.
That's fair.
And they say he's the nicest guy in the world. You talk to guys who do business with him, they don't like him.
Right.
You talk to guys who are cops and Secret Service and people on his staff. They love being with him. He's he's not a screamer and yeller he screams and yells at people at his own level, but as far as dealing with regular day-to-day people, he's for real. And I think too many Republicans have given that aloof, snobbish country club attitude. So that has to change also.
Great point. Now,
That's a great point.
And if Hillary Clinton wins, Congressman King, Republicans will probably hold the Congress. Are we looking at a paralyzed government? Are we looking at investigations of Hillary Clinton, possibly impeachment, anything like that if Hillary wins?
Yeah, I think there's bound to be investigations, and I'm not that happy about that. I mean, to me, we are Americans. We have to have a president, and you need some stability because while we're fighting and investigating, Putin could be moving against us, or ISIS could be moving against us, or China could be building another island, and Al-Qaeda could be making moves. So we have to temper what we do here. But again, that's part of the position that Hillary has put herself in with all.
Right.
I know, but wouldn't you agree, Peter? You're talking about how the Republicans have to come together, they come to Jesus. It's like a civil war inside that group. You would agree that it's not just Obama. It's been like 20 years. It's basically been gridlock in Washington, D.C. Would you not agree that the one place where Hillary, I think, is a little better than Donald Trump at is that when Hillary does try to sit with Republicans and Democrats, she does do a decent job with both, no? You know that.
Yeah. Yeah, no, when she was senator, she was good to work with. I've always said that. Even at the heat of the campaign, I said she was good to work with. Unfortunately, though, I was mostly behind the scenes, and she is good behind the scenes. A public persona getting in trouble on these dopey things. And I say, like, there's no reason for that. These are all self-inflicted wounds.
Yeah.
That is going to hurt her publicly, and so that's going to put political pressure on Republicans to investigate. And maybe in some cases they should. I just wish we weren't in that position. Now, here's the other side. Let me give you the thing with Donald Trump, though. He's really not that ideological. And, the art of the deal. I could see Donald Trump and Paul Ryan and Chuck Schumer, even whether Chuck is majority or minority leader, being able to put together some coalition on issues like infrastructure spending, getting the deal done. Chuck prides himself on being a deal maker. Trump thinks he's the greatest deal maker. And Paul Ryan likes to be the reasonable man. You put the three of them in a room and have Mitch McConnell there, too. I think you may see some progress, and some people may think that Donald is not being ideological enough, but I think that's why he could be able to make some deals. Well, Hillary Clinton is going to be tied to Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren.
Right, very excellent point. Going to Trump's statements about sitting down between the Jews and the Palestinians, he maybe can make a deal. He's a negotiator, as you said. But Congressman King, we are out of time. And
always great.
All the best to you today on Election Day out in Long Island.
Yes.
You're a great statesman and a great guest on the Bernie and Sid Show. We love you.
Hey, terrific, guys.
All right, man.
All right, man.
Keep hope
up the good
alive.
work. Yeah, Peter
Drain
King.
the swamp, baby. Peter King on Bernie and Sid. Back after this.